ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Tech Showdown. My name is Kevin, this is Teddy, and today we're checking out the Corsair H1500 7.1 gaming headset. So this will be quite interesting, and we'll dive straight into it then with the specs. So the drivers it's using are 50mm neodymium drivers, has a headphone frequency response rate of 20 Hz to 20 kHz, and headphone input impedance of 32 ohms. Connection wise, it's USB going straight into my computer right now. I'll show you why in a minute. And microphone wise, it has a 2.2k ohms impedance. The microphone frequency response is 100 Hz to 10 kHz, and microphone sensitivity is minus 44 decibels plus or minus 3 decibels. So as I said, it features their neodymium drivers, so hopefully that leads to good audio, as we'll talk about soon. It has the genuine Dolby 7.1 surround. Now it only has 2 drivers, so this is like a virtual surround sound or digital surround sound, and we'll be talking about that a little bit later too. And of course, as its microphone here, this just comes up and down here. Not as flexible as some people might like. It only really goes up and down, although the headphones themselves do have a lot of pivot in them, so that's quite good. Alright, so let's start off then with the looks, and honestly, I wasn't too fazed by this one. It's plastic fantastic, so there's no metal construction on it anywhere, I believe. Except for the, nowhere I believe. Yeah, so that's, I don't know, at this price point I'd kind of expect that, but maybe that's just me. It has this yellow accents around the side and for the Corsair Gaming, and obviously on the inside of the ear cups, which yellow, or I suppose this could be a shade of gold now, it's definitely yellow I'd say. I don't really like this too much, only because it's going to stand out so much. It kind of makes it look like a bumblebee a little bit. So yeah, I'm not really too fan of it in that sense. But aside from the yellow, the overall looks and design, it's quite basic. It's quite, you know, we've seen this so many times before. It's not very unique. So I would have just expected a little bit more. You can have a more standard looking headphone like the HyperX Cloud is somewhat standard looking, but then it's made out of those premium materials, and you know, it just looks really good. So that's where I'm just not that phased, but it's not like it looks bad, so it's just looks wise, it's just average. So comfort wise, the ear cups are made out of what's it called, memory foam. That's it, memory foam. And they have this microfiber clothing around it, so they're pretty good. Honestly, the ear cups were really nice. They have this pivot as well, so they just fit really snugly. There's not too much clamping force, which is a big thing a lot of people have an issue with. And yeah, they're just really comfortable. You don't get like that overheating and or any issues like that. Just really good. Up top, you have the synthetic leather, and you also have pretty decent cushioning on the top for the headband. It's pretty good, but the headset itself it isn't that heavy. I'd say it's about a medium weight, but it just feels, for me anyways, it felt like there was a lot of force on my head. It kind of pushed down a lot, and it didn't feel that comfortable. So that might be more the overall design of the headphones with this, you know, they're quite wide, more than the headband material itself's fault, but I didn't feel like the headband was that comfortable, so that wasn't that good. One good thing is though is that, as I said before, they can go quite wide, so you know, that's a good thing. Heaps of flexibility as well, like this is gonna fit everybody, and so it might not have been too comfortable for me in that one area, but overall comfort wise I'd still say it's a bit of a mixed bag, but it's decent for the most part, and I think it just depends on the person, as do most peripherals, but this one more so in terms of comfort. Now let's get to the big one, sound quality, the main event. So it has their 7.1 surround, which we'll talk about in a minute, but for movies, well, not so much movies for some people, but definitely for music, you're going to be wanting just to run the standard 2.0 audio. like normal. And for that, it was pretty decent. Yeah, it was a really good effort. Music sounded pretty good for the most part. I would have liked a little bit more bass, but that was about it. Everything else sounded pretty good. Now, as far as enabling the 7.1 Dolby, the virtual surround sound, that, when you're watching games or movies, would be kind of that's the idea behind it. But personally, I didn't like it that much. Now, for the 7.1, how it works, it does work really well. When you're playing first-person shooter games especially, you can hear people like they are behind you, or there's gunshots behind you. So that side of it does work, I'm not denying that. It's just, it like washes out the audio quality so much. It makes it sound very hollow. It's kind of hard to explain to you guys, but it just sounds really hollow, and I didn't really like it. So yeah, I'd rather, for me personally, I just left it on 2.0, and I'd just rather the good audio quality and not have the 7.1. But that's just my personal opinion. Other people might not have an issue with it like that. One thing everyone, I think, will have an issue with, as you see, it has a braided cable, and it has an inline volume adjustment, and you can turn the microphone on and off, and it also has a clip on the back, so that's also a nice thing. But the volume was just insane. I don't know why they have it set so ridiculous. And what I mean by that, when I first put them on, the audio goes down to 0 in Windows, right? So I set it to, like 2%, and I was like, wow, this is really loud already. The highest I ever took these was 8%, and that was plenty loud for me, I assure you. It just seems crazy. Like, anything over like 20% would probably like hurt you, with everything else maxed out, what you're watching on YouTube, setting the volume bar all up. It would like hurt your ears. Maybe it's just me being a bit sensitive, but it just seems crazy. They set it so, I mean, you're never going to run out of volume. There's that side of it. But still, it's just way too crazy for the most part, and they should put maybe a cap on it or something, so first time users or other people you don't accidentally bump it and max it out and like blow your eardrums out. It just seems a little bit too crazy. Now, software wise, the software we're not really going to talk about that much, because honestly it was so basic. There was just a few things to adjust on that, and it's not really worth talking about for the most part. But I mean, for what it is, easy to use, straightforward. Light would be another way to put it. But yeah, I mean, it does what it needs to do. So software wise, it's just okay. The noise cancellation, that was pretty decent too. There's a bit of bleed from them, like other people in the room might be able to hear your game noise or the music you're listening to quite easily, but you yourself, the noise cancelling was pretty decent. Now, mic quality, personally I thought it was just kind of average, middle of the road. It was quite clear, but it's nothing that special, but it'll get you by for all your Skype calls and gaming needs, and I think it'll do a pretty good job for the most part. So I think it's pretty average. It's gonna do you alright, just put it that way. Build quality wise, it definitely feels a bit more on the cheaper end for a gaming headset of this price, especially compared to the HyperX Cloud or Cloud 2, which I'll be trying to get very soon. That being said, that doesn't mean it feels like it's going to break easily. It feels loose, but it still feels strong. It feels like it could take a lot of abuse. You could put this in a suitcase or something and travel across the world and it would be just fine, and I don't think it would break. So it's not an issue in that sense. It's just the overall feel of the headset. It just feels a little bit on the cheaper end, and I would have liked to have seen more premium materials. Would have been a bit nicer. Which brings us now to the conclusion. So looks wise, it's probably not going to be for everyone. It might be a bit more of an acquired taste. You're either going to love it or hate it, or some people might just be indifferent to it. But it's interesting, I'll say that much. Comfort wise, it's a mixed bag. For me anyways, I felt the ear cups were really good, but then the headband was not that good, so not that good in comfort for me personally, although other people might find, with all the adjustment there, which is really good, they might find that it actually is quite comfortable. Sound quality is pretty decent, but the digital 7.1, well, the virtual 7.1 isn't going to be for everybody, because it does hollow out the audio quality quite a bit. Although, if you don't mind that and you just want to be able to hear everything around you to have maybe a competitive advantage, then it's going to do you really well for that. The 7.1 does work really well. The noise cancelling is also good. The mic quality is pretty average, as we just said, and the build quality is just kind of cheap feeling, and yeah, it should have more premium materials on it. Which overall means, do I recommend this? Well, I do, but I'd wait for this to maybe go on sale before you get it, at least in New Zealand anyways. I think the price right now on average in New Zealand is a little bit high for these guys, so maybe wait for them to come down a little bit more. Maybe if something else comes out or there's more competition, wait for it to come down a little bit more, and then I would recommend it. Aside from that though, I just go with my normal recommendation, which I still think is better than these, which is the HyperX Cloud or the Cloud 2, which I haven't tested yet, but I've heard incredibly good things about, and that's usually my go-to recommendation, which should be in a similar price bracket to this guy. Now, I thank you all for watching this video. Please subscribe to Tech Showdown to catch my videos as soon as they drop, and as always, I'll see you next time.